and welcome to ET Now Hangouts with me, Ankita Saxena. Well, besides being known for its heritage and culture, India is also famous for producing beauty queens on international platforms. And today we have one such beauty queen who is all set to represent India on the 15th Miss Supranational Grand Finale. Well, but there is more than meets the eye for this one. Sonal is a young entrepreneur and founder of Unicus, a startup that aims to redefine India's financial landscape. Hi Sonal, welcome to ET Now Hangouts. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. The pleasure is all mine.
Right, Sonal, so tell me, you were a student of marketing and public relations. What got you to participate in a beauty pageant?
You know, that's something I think about on the daily. I'm like, where does life come from and to this point in my life? But I was always of the point of view that I wanted to do it all. And I want to do it all in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So when I got the opportunity, it was very challenging. And as someone who's never thought about being in pageantry or fashion, anything related to this industry, I thought it was like, if I do this, I can do so much more. And I wanted to represent. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm going to represent India in Poland next week. So that has been the most enticing bit of the journey.
Right, but there's more to it than meets the eye. In fact, you also are a startup founder. You have a startup called Unicus. It's a financial startup. Tell us about that. How did you get started with your entrepreneurial journey and what led to that?
So Unicas is something that I thought about right before COVID happened, and right when the second wave of COVID was going on is when I decided to, launch it. It is a platform where people can work and buy and sell cryptocurrencies. It's basically crypto-centric.
Okay.
And then we offer other financial services like savings, loans on crypto, things like that. I think my idea with Unicas was to help understand cryptocurrencies, because I think the world we live in today, a lot of people still don't understand what crypto is. And I think there's a lot of even scams that happen in the name of crypto.
Right.
So I wanted to get in, have people like a safe, secure platform where they can deal in the world of crypto, understand crypto, but also get on financial journeys. I feel like I come from a school of thought that no matter what you do, where you come from, you must invest and put your money to use.
And we are a business news channel, so we also encourage a young audience to invest, as you said. And you're a young girl who believes in financial independence, as you just mentioned. How do you invest your money?
I am very strategic with my investments. I don't like to play around a lot. Right. I think, and I also segregate it. So I have some short-term ones, but most of my funds are in longer-term investments. 1 to 3 years is what is the least minimum window for me.
Okay.
Invest in the stock market.
Right.
I also think we should invest in ourselves. I think this whole journey has been a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
But it's a part of investment, and I think so relevant for the youth of today.
Right. We will come to investing in oneself, but I want you to elaborate a little more on the investment bit. When you said you invest in short terms as well. Long-term investments are concerned, do you prefer mutual funds, SIPs? How do you look at that?
I believe you should diversify your portfolio.
Yeah.
So I feel diversification of the portfolio can look very different for different people. For me personally, I trade, but I don't do inter or intraday trading. I do swing trades. I get in and I get out depending on what the market looks like. And I think especially for trading, I believe you should do it when you have the time to monitor.
And you've done your research, of course.
Yeah. When you know what you're getting yourself into, when you have the time to monitor that, because a lot of times, especially for the youth, right? I feel it's easy to get in when it's very enticing, when prices are shooting up. I feel like you have to research well, be smart about your investments. And for my longer term ones also, I do have all diversified investment portfolio. So yes, SIPs, mutual funds.
All right, and we'll come to the point where you said that it's very important to invest in oneself. And especially as women, the kind of expectations that we have from societies of always looking good, investing in our looks and our clothes, and you name it, and we have to spend money on that. So what would be your advice to a young girl who's getting started on her financial journey? How can she get started?
I think, what you rightly mentioned, it is very enticing when you're living in the world of today where you want everything, you want the next best thing for you, right? And I think it's smart to understand and segregate wants versus needs. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
But personally, to me also, yes, I have to wear new clothes every day, put myself together, but that is not the kind of investment that I suggest doing.
Yeah.
I think that's a want, and you can have fun with it.
Yes.
Don't restrict yourself, but be smart about it. When I talk about investments, even whatever you earn, even on the daily, I feel now people are earning more than ever. We're getting into this world of digitization. There's new income streams that have come out of it. But put aside 10% of that investment and invest in yourself, whether that's skills. I also feel in terms of financial investment, I feel women today need to start saving, or not just women, like people today need to understand the concept and idea of saving. And then understand what investment is right for them, and then get on that journey. I feel when you put in a little amount also, that's when your interest comes in. A lot of times, I've seen a lot of women ask me questions like, how do we start? We have no idea what this platform is about, or how an exchange works, things like that. Even, your bank has direct market, stuff like that. They're like, we don't understand markets, we don't understand the stock market. That's all okay. I feel if you start with even a small amount, you'll at least monitor it every day.
Okay.
And you'll at least start watching relevant things to understand it, because we have access. That is the biggest blessing of today's world, where there's access, where everything is available in terms of information. We just have to be curious and ready to grasp it.
Right. You mentioned a very interesting thing of segregating wants versus needs. It's very important to do that. So what is your percentage of save versus spend? How do you look at it?
I think...
I know it's different for every girl, and but what's yours?
Everyone, I think, knows about the 50, 30, 20
20 rule, yes.
I work around it. I think even when I was younger, even in college, I would have budgeting Excel sheets, and I would go for it that way. And my wants, I'm very limited on my wants, because I think I have bigger goals and wants that way. So even if my wants today ask for something, I don't put the 30% in the wants category.
Okay.
I keep as much as I can in the saving category, because I feel like I'm a very long-term goal person also, so I keep putting in more funds towards that. But I never shy away from investing in something that needs, or that I need at the moment. So even right now with my journey, I feel there is so many types of spendings that I have on the daily. But I'm not shying away, because I feel like long-term you need to see what that's going to do for you. And we're losing that long-term vision. So I feel like the youth today has to have that to be able to work with their finances.
Right. That brings me to my next question, and that is on financial discipline. There is so much of temptation, of course, wants versus needs, that's a battle. But how do you maintain financial discipline at a time where, there is so much of temptation outside on social media? There's also competition, you want to look your best. So how do you go about maintaining that?
I think personally, what I've noticed is with social media, it's so enticing and it's so quick. 15 minutes, you get something home. Amazon Prime, you get anything you want delivered. And a lot of times, you know what they say, when you go grocery shopping, never go grocery shopping hungry, because you're going to put everything in your cart.
Well said,
That is the rule.
You
don't buy right when you want it, because if you're hungry for something, you see whatever you
put it in your basket.
You'll put it to basket, add to cart, GPay, your Paytm. It's not even real money for a lot of people. They're like, gone from your bank until it's too late. So I suggest put it in your cart, let it sit. Let it sit for a day, let it sit for 10 days. If you still want it, then think about it. Don't add to cart and check out right away. So wait on the checkout, and I feel we always know, even if it's enticing, and I see something a lot of times, I like scented candles, I like home decor.
Tell
and
me about it.
Right. And I'm like, I want more of it. And then I'll think about it, do I really need? Maybe not. Oh, I love this lip color. Fenty came out with another shade. Oh, I love these glosses. So many things on the daily, especially, for women, even men. Oh my God, you see something and you're like, Sneakers, you're a
Oh,
sneakerhead,
yeah.
you want one more? Put it in your cart, but think about it.
Sleep over it and
They say sleep over it and you'll know half of your answers.
answers, absolutely. And I totally agree with you, because that is something even I've started doing.
Yeah.
Because, you put it in the cart and you let it sit there.
You let it sit. A lot of times you will never even get back to the cart.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. And Sonal, you said that it is very important to invest in oneself. So now you're going to represent India on an international pageant. So I'm sure you must be going through some rigorous training that they must be putting you through. And there are a lot of learnings that come with it. Share with us, what have you learned? What have been your biggest learnings through this?
It's very interesting because you learn not just how to be a good pageant representative. Like, okay, you learn about your walk because you're going to be doing ramp walk.
Yeah.
You learn about hair and makeup, yes.
Yeah.
But you learn about soft skills. You learn about yourself at the end of the day. And that's been my biggest takeaway, where I've learned patience. I've learned how to talk to people, how to deal with so many different types of people, what people... a lot of times they also say, right, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's said for a reason.
Yeah.
So which audience are you addressing to? How do you communicate that? How do you communicate your message in the best way possible so it's actionable, so it becomes something of value? You don't learn this outside, and I feel it's so underrated what pageantry has done for me. I never knew as an outsider. I was like, okay, like, you gotta look pretty and be a beauty queen. It takes so much to be somebody who's a voice of many. And I work on that with a whole set of mentors. It's not just one.
I agree.
And you don't need just mentors. I have my therapist, I have mentor, I have counselor, I have life coach, I have ramp walk trainer, and I have my... It's a whole army of people prepping you up to be your best version. I'm so grateful to get this opportunity, honestly.
Right. Sonal, you mentioned how soft skills are very important. I want to pick up that point because there are a lot of young audience that are watching us. We are a show that is directed towards the young audience. So if you could give a few pieces of advice to our young audience through what you have learned on soft skills or how to present yourself to enhance one's persona.
I think it's very important to take out the time to be aware about yourself. You're living with yourself. You're going around with yourself every single day. How much time do you put aside to get to know yourself?
Yeah.
I want to ask the question to like all the youth, young people watching. We're so consumed. You wake up and you start scrolling. You go to bed and you're still scrolling. You know about everyone else. How much do you know about yourself?
Right.
And even for soft skills, first start from where you are right now. Understand that. I started journaling. I started meditating. That gave me so much clarity of where I stand. It gives you an access to be centered. And then you go on and see what do you want to even learn in the first place and why. And for soft skills, there are avenues. I feel we're in such a connected age and world. You can learn whatever you want. It's important to understand what do you need and then get to it. And then there's always resources. And confidence to be yourself, I think that's so underrated.
I agree.
But when you have that, when you have the belief, then you can do half of the things in life that you think are not possible.
When you don't seek external validation.
So important that you pointed that out. And I feel this world of validation, instant gratification, even what we talked about, like you add things to cart and they're delivered. People don't have the patience to wait. And you talk about any industry, you talk about finance, you need the patience. The market's going to do its own thing. If you don't have the patience, you'll end up losing money. You talk about yourself on day to day. If you don't have the patience to wait to see the work that you're putting in for it to show results, you won't get anywhere. Even if you're like somebody who's working out, you go to the gym and 2 days later you're like, abs nahi aaye. Abs won't come in 2 days.
Right.
So I feel like that's everywhere. It has to be a shift in the way we are as a person.
Right.
So important.
So you also mentioned that you're working with a team of people, right? You also mentioned therapists and counselors. Is it very taxing mentally? Does it take a toll on your mental health? Because that is so important these days. What are the implications or the flip side of being a beauty queen? Do you feel scrutinized a lot?
Yeah, I think when you put yourself out there, you're already subject to scrutiny. So it goes without saying, no matter which profession you're in for that matter.
Are there days where you feel bad? Because I want to ask you this question because there's so many girls out there who are watching you and who feel this way about themselves, but it is normal to feel that, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I'm not even kidding. You wake up and you're like not feeling yourself every morning, right? Some days you wake up and you're tired. Some days you wake up and your face is puffy. Some days you wake up and like you don't have the energy to move because you've given in so much, and then you hit a low. And that happens on the daily, you know, like on the daily, I mean every other day. And you have to pick yourself back up. I feel it's so important. That's why to like stay rooted, stay anchored in like your purpose, in things that make you happy. I'm a very big, I guess, I want this message of happiness also to go out there in the world. I started this initiative called Pockets of Joy. Where every day I feel like we need to remind ourselves of what makes us happy to get us back to ourselves. You know, when you do something, your body releases this feel-good hormone when you do something that makes you happy. And it's so important for yourself, for you to do that. So you feel good and you show up differently than, you know, in the world also. And mental health is priority. I think it's a non-negotiable. So a lot of times we spread ourselves too thin. I feel it's important to take a step back, not do that, not let everyone's opinion of you define who you are. Even in pageantry, I hear that on the daily. You want to do this, like work on this aspect, work on your walk, work on how you talk. Oh, you've done that. Now work on how you look and change your nose and do this. So many things.
And that leaves you feeling more inadequate.
Of course.
Which is why I want to ask you, what is your take on the unrealistic standards of beauty that society has set for women? And ironically, I'm asking this to a beauty queen now.
You know, the world will always set these standards. And the thing is, it's like a wheel. It keeps going and it keeps changing, and it's never one definition of beauty. It's changed over the years. Sometimes skinny is beautiful, sometimes the hourglass figure is what you want, and then like curvy is the new thing. Do what feels right to you. And that is what's gonna help you stay sane, stay happy. And that's what I tell myself. A lot of times I get pulled in so many different directions, and I feel like it's so important for people to find a space of comfort within themselves. And when you're happy with yourself, you're happy in the world, and not everything affects you then. If you're looking for validation outside, today they might say something nice, tomorrow that might change. And then if that changes the idea that you have of yourself, then you're not going to actually be able to do anything in life. And we need to be kinder as people. I think that's also important.
To ourselves first.
And it starts with you, 100%.
Absolutely. Sonal, it was a great interview. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best for your pageant, and may you get the crown back home. Here's hoping. But we won't let you go just like that. We'll play a quick rapid fire round with you.
Let's do it.
All right. Brace yourself. What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure, food.
What motivates you?
Purpose.
Okay. And what's the best advice you ever received, and by whom?
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll have to think about that one. It's a rapid fire. Wait. I think the best one, if I have to say, is I was actually reading this book. It's not the best one. It's the latest one. It's this book called Green Lights. And it says that if in life there were only green lights, would you ever learn? You have to have the reds and the yellows.
Right. You have to go through all of it.
The failures. That's when you learn something new. Agar sab kuch acha hai, are you actually changing anything?
If you haven't experienced sadness, you wouldn't know the importance of happiness.
Very true.
Right. Okay. What's your biggest fear then?
My biggest fear has to be of not making a difference, of not making a mark. Leaving too soon.
Okay. So what is that one trait that defines you?
Being unstoppable.
And finally, what is that one quality you think will make you win Miss Supranational?
I think what I talked about in this whole interview, be true. And I want to be true to everything I've learned, to who I am, and everything I'm taking with me. I think authenticity, it'll be seen.
All right. We really hope that it is seen and you get the crown back home. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for your time and thank you for having me.